Hi everyone out there in YouTube land. So I'm going to be filming a different kind of video today. I'm going to be doing a recipe video. This is going to be for an Italian vegetable stew. It was a recipe passed down to me from my grandmother. It's a really simple recipe and it's really delicious, and I thought I would share it with you. So first I'm going to show you what you will need. So the ingredients that you will need are 1 large eggplant, 2 green squash, 3 potatoes, some olive oil, 3 of these Del Monte tomato sauce cans, and these are 8 ounces, so you'll need about 3 of these, salt and pepper to taste, a loaf of crusty Italian bread to serve on the side, and to cook it all in, a large cooking pot. So I'm going to start chopping up the vegetables and getting those prepared, and then I'll come back with the next step of the recipe. Okay, so now for the next step in the video. So I've taken my potatoes and I peeled them and washed them and cut them into cubes. Now I should I forgot to tell you, I should have remembered to tell you that the ingredients that I showed you before is the minimum that you will need for this recipe. You can always add extra potatoes, extra eggplant, extra squash, depending on which vegetable you like best, but all 3 have to be included for the recipe to work and taste as it's intended. So I actually have 4 potatoes peeled and cut into cubes here that I'm going to use for my recipe. So now the next step is you have your large pot here, and I'm going to take some olive oil right here. So weird to film and cook at the same time, and you're going to kind of eyeball this. Just make sure that the bottom of the pan is coated, just about like that. Then we're going to turn on the flame here. Okay. And then what we're going to do is add, I'm sorry if this video was kind of all weird and wacky. We're going to add a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper to this oil. And we're going to wait until it gets hot before we add our potatoes. Now the key with this is that when we add our potatoes, we're going to saute them in this oil just for a few minutes, just so that they develop a skin on the outside. Not a brown crispy skin, just so that they get like a film. Because with this stew, you put the vegetables, you add the vegetables to the pot in the order of the time that they need to cook. So being that potatoes take the longest to cook, they go in first, and then the next one would be the eggplant and then the squash, because that takes the least time to cook. So anyway, the reason that we put the potatoes in this oil and let them get kind of like a skin is because if you don't, when you put them in the stew, they will disintegrate and then you'll just have mush. You won't have nice pieces of potato. Okay, so I'm going to wait for this to get hot, and then I'm going to add my potatoes. Okay, so now I've added my potatoes, and you want to stir them so that they're all coated in the oil. Just make sure they're all nice and coated. And you want to keep an eye on them, like I said, because you just want to make sure that they just get kind of like a film on the outside, but not for them to be anywhere near cooked. So I'm going to simmer these for a few minutes, and then I will show you the next step. Okay, so I've been simmering my potatoes for about 2 minutes or so, and as you can see, I don't know if you can see, but they kind of get a little bit translucent when they develop their cooked skin. So this is what they should look like. Now you have to stir these constantly, or like they're doing now, they will stick to the pot. So yeah, make sure to keep an eye on these while you're getting your skin on your potatoes. And now they're done, and I'm going to drain the oil. Okay, so I've drained the oil from the potatoes, and now I'm moving on to my next step, which is to add the tomato sauce. So I have my can of Del Monte tomato sauce, and I'm just going to add 1 can. And so with this, like I said, the amount of cans that I showed you in the beginning will vary depending on how much vegetables you put in this. That was just the minimum. So now I've added 1 can of sauce, and then what you do is you fill the can with water, and then you add it, and you repeat this step about 3 times until you get the amount of sauce in the pot that you need. I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, so I've added 4 cans of Del Monte sauce and 4 cans of water. So this equal parts sauce and water. You want to make sure that your potatoes are completely swimming in your sauce here, and that you have enough room that you'll be able to fill in your other vegetables and that they will be coated in sauce. So now I'm going to put this on a low simmer or medium simmer. Low to medium. While I peel and chop my next vegetable, which is the squash.